Welcome in, everybody, to another episode. Brett Allen here, chatting with actress Lauren Buglioli about her most current project, a Tyler Perry film, A Jazzman's Blues, which, from what I understand, this film has been or was in the making for years, like decades almost. Thank you so much for your time. I'm excited to chat with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk about this film. It's amazing and it's available for folks to watch and to stream now. I think it's available in select theaters and then on demand. So, how did you get involved with the project? Obviously, there's an audition and all of that, but sort of at what point did you become interested in it and kind of go, I would like to be a part of this thing?
Thank you. I got an audition from an incredible casting director, Raven Drummer, who works with Tyler Perry. And I saw that, we get something called sides when we get an audition. And I saw the sides and it felt, it was a period piece clearly, and it felt really like something I hadn't seen him do before. And I
Okay.
was really excited about the material I saw. And I've been very lucky. I've worked with him a couple times before and absolutely love him and his production company. So was so excited to get the audition, and then worked with a dialect coach and prepared for it. And it was one that I really had my heart set on, because, you've seen the film. She is I called her Margaret the Monster, low key. Um,
Low key for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So I was really excited to be a part of that story and portray someone whose views are very different from my own. And I always think it's very interesting when evil people are when it's very insidious, when it's quiet, and when it's
Almost worse in a way.
100%. And we see that in the world, right? We see people say really disgusting things with a smile. So it was a little bit of that bless your heart energy that I wanted to explore for her. And I was just excited to bring her life to life and be a part of that story.
Yeah, so you've worked with Tyler before and other things that he's done, and this definitely is sort of a departure from what we might be used to. So I want to ask you about this because there's the classic example of the misunderstood person, and the argument in case is always made, well, their mother thinks they're a wonderful person or whatever. Like when you're talking about serial killers or, whatever the case might be. But for this person who, the character that you play is a very, I don't want to label them as a mean or vindictive person, but really just not great.
Mm.
The bless your heart kind of character. Like, and you have to deliver certain lines or whatever. What are those conversations like with Tyler? Is he hands on in those regards as far as like, it's okay to maybe say this or to say that, you're not, this isn't you, but this is your character and this is just another Tuesday at work.
I'm so glad you asked that. It's such an interesting thing. It's something that no one prepares you for as an
Right.
actor when you do portray someone who is evil. And I love that you brought up that you can't label them, because we as actors want to bring empathy to anyone that we're playing. And there was a conversation on set where, I was calling her, low key Margaret the Monster, and someone said to me, she's a product of her environment and her circumstances and that time period. And unfortunately, we continue to see people who perpetuate archaic belief systems and don't come from a place of love and inclusion and equality. But there was something about playing her with a smile that made me feel like, you know what, if someone sees a little bit of themselves in that delivery, then hopefully they can reflect on, because sometimes we see evil characters played like, someone with a mustache twirling the mustache, and it's very
Yeah.
clear that they're evil, right? But I think there's something to playing someone, like you said, like the person next door that just delivers the horrific thing as if it's common sense, right? So there was a conversation about realizing that she was a product of her environment and her time period, and that was part of telling the story.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the case as a storyteller where you have to take the risk and deliver the lines that are written for you, but also having an environment, I think, where the director is supportive and collaborative, like I would imagine he would be,
Absolutely.
because again, you have to, as an actor, from what I see, is get into the mindset of that kind of person and not judge them for what's on paper per se, but
Mhm.
really, I mean, because you almost find yourself rooting for her in a way, kind of like, man, I really hope she gets it. You know what I'm saying? Versus
Right.
like, man, wishing her ill will.
Yes, and it's so interesting. So one thing, Brad Benedict, who plays my husband in the film,
Yeah.
is the nicest human being you've ever met, and he plays this monster. And you watch, and even I, knowing him, watch him, and I'm like, you want to see him get it right. So, um, someone came up to me at the premiere and said, I understand that you're an actor, but I hated you. And I was like, first, I love that you came up to me and told me that, because thank you. That's the point, and I did my job. But you have to set ego aside as an actor, right?
Yeah.
And say, like, I understand that people have the ability to separate me from my character, and that's part of it because I play a lot of evil people.
Yeah,
So
you've played some interesting folks. Is that fun for you to get to do that? Because they're not all myopic. They're all very different. You know what I mean?
it's so much fun. I like to joke that, I used to say that I had a tendency to attract mean girls. And I like to think that I didn't attract them for nothing. They didn't know that they were character studies. So, uh,
Yeah, no, I did, that's funny. No, I mean, it's always interesting when I talk to actors because you kind of get to see, because it's, they're basing this on, previous things that you've done, but also taking a risk as a director or whoever and saying, we don't know what she's going to do, but we have a pretty good idea that she's going to be able to deliver.
mhm.
Um, so when you start playing roles like that, do you just get into the mindset of like, okay, this is another kind of archetype, so I have to really sort of explore this person and go, okay, how can I play this differently instead of the typical,
Yeah, it's,
do you know what I
I
mean?
think
Like, I don't, there's a
natural.
word, that
Right,
could be
right.
used, which is not true, but sometimes that's how people, and I would never come up to an actor in public necessarily and say, I hate your character, but I will say you play a really good mean person. You know what I mean?
Thank
Because,
you.
but they're all equally good, I think,
Thank you
personally.
so much. That means
Yeah.
the world to me. With this one, I really thought about, with people who have hate in their heart and who have prejudice, what's it's all upsetting and it makes my blood boil. But I've thought, with a woman like this, what would be really upsetting? And I thought, if she really just thought the world of herself and just was blissfully unaware of her ignorance and her
Right.
hate, and delivered it with a smile, and just thought, like, essentially, there's a scene with the main character where I'm essentially shushing her and allowing something horrific to happen.
Yeah.
um, I tried to think about what have I seen in the world, and in the time that we're in, and some of the videos I saw over the last couple years of people just saying hateful, ignorant things as if they were facts with a smile. That really, I mean, while it's all upsetting, there's something about someone who just firmly believes something hateful and delivers it as if it's nothing. That really, I'm like, how do you not see this? How do you not have any kind of conscience or self-awareness? So I tried to play with that a little bit with her, with where she just thought the world of herself, um, and didn't see her ignorance. And again, we had that conversation on set that would have, you know, odds are that would have been a product of her upbringing. And so it was an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, so you have a lot of things going on. I know you're working on different things. I'm not sure which we can or can't discuss, but one last question is, as you've made your way through your career, uh, you know, is there a moment where you've had a particular character that you've played which sort of solidified, this is something that I'm meant to do, because I'm, first of all, I'm good at it, but really, were you attracted to acting, or was acting attracted, did it come to you very naturally?
I love your questions.
Thank you.
So I was born in California, and I my mom started me in commercials when I was little, and she always said, if this isn't fun, we'll stop. But she had a sense of my personality from a young age, and I always loved it. And I think, I've been lucky that I have a degree in early childhood education and special education as well. So I took some time from the business, off from the business to teach full time. And as much as I love it, now I work with kids, coaching them on auditions and mentoring where I can. But someone said to me once in school when I was training to be an actor that, if you can do anything else in the world, go do that, because this is the hardest job there is. And I don't believe that's true. I think having a lot of things you love as an actor fuels you, because the days that we're on set are, fewer than the days that we're off set. So to have something else that you love is important. So I'm grateful that the road has been winding for me, but it feels like I had to go back to it. It felt like a calling and part of my soul's purpose, Sorry to be corny, but
No, it's true.
I couldn't live without it. It was
Yeah.
one of those things, but I'm so grateful that I know I can do other things and that I have other things to sustain me when I'm not on set that light me up. And, working with children is inspiring and means the world to me as well. It's not like I'm chasing the next job for fulfillment and happiness and self-worth. And that was important to me to, you know, when I was younger, I was very one dimensional, and now there are many things that I love. And to answer your question, there was a role that I played last year, Caitlin Fox in Florida Man, that it just, I said to myself after that, I said, if I never work again, like I loved playing that character. It, was beyond my wildest dreams. So it was a moment that some, I think sometimes there's a role that you just feel like is written for you. And that's a really, really meaningful moment to feel like you get to play a character that you're like, I can't imagine not playing her.
Yeah,
So
that's another great show. Well, this is fantastic. I want to encourage our listeners and viewers to go see this film. If you can see it in theaters, if it's only available to stream, please check it out. It's a great movie. Again, Tyler has said in lots of interviews, this is a passion project, something he started well over 20 some years ago and just now was able to get it done, which just goes to show you that, you know, although this man has a lot of staying power in the industry, it takes time to get anything done, especially if it's something that you're passionate about, and just kind of needs to get to a certain place before people can enjoy it. Congratulations on everything. And this is great. Thank you so much for your time, Lauren. I appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you for having me, Brett.